Hi, I'm Lisa. In this video, I'd like to share this pattern, Heart of America, with you. It's really quick, easy, fast, and fun to make. You're gonna love it. I've decided to start this project by cutting a clear base for the heart. So I'm gonna start over here, come around, bring it off. Now when you're working with something like this, it's a complicated shape, make it easy for yourself. Rotate the glass. Now here I'm gonna sort of abbreviate that a little bit, come back to it and get in a little deeper. But go ahead and rotate the paper and your glass to make it easier for you to reach and get good pressure on that score line. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do a couple of scores in here to get that deeper area out. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to take my running pliers, grab that score line, just gently squeeze. Okay, if it doesn't come off right away, go ahead and squeeze from the other side. There you go. This one's a little trickier. I want to finesse this one a little bit because we want to try to retain these little shoulders on the heart. Alright, let's see. I've got it. The scores run from here to here and then to here. So I'm going to come over here and squeeze a little bit more. Come over here and squeeze a little more. There we go. Alright, so that's not cooperating. So I'm going to take the back of my cutter, give it a little tap. There we go. So when you do the tapping, you want to go right underneath where that score line, sort of the edge of it. I'll peel these out of here. Oh, a little crunchy there, that's alright. As long as we're getting the shape we want. There we go. That's going to require some grinding for sure. There we go. Take my grozers and nip off that little spot there. Okay, I'm going to take that over, dump this over here in the corner. There we go. It looks pretty darn good. I'm pretty pleased with that. Alright, so I cut the clear and then I took it over to the grinder to give it a nice edge. And I want you to know that these little humps here are not exactly symmetrical. So if you come back to your pattern and you put it down upside down, you're going to have a little bit of shortage here and a little overage over here. So, I mean, it's really not bad. Or then we have a little variation up here. So this does fit better once you cut it one way over the other. All right, so that's cut ground. Love the way that turned out. Now, before I cut up this pattern, I want to mark it. So with color, so I know what's going where. Because once I cut it up, it's not going to be as clear. Oops, wait, that's red. That's not white, it's red. So this is white, red, and this. I'm going to do this whole area blue as one big piece, and then I'm going to do the star in one big piece, so that'll be white. This will be solid white, and this will be wispy white. So now I've got that figured out. I can go ahead and cut up the pattern. Oh, I also probably want to do this because I'm working the glass with a direction to it. And when I line up the paper, I'm going to line it up with the grain of the glass. I've selected this pretty white, and I don't know where my red is, somewhere. Anyway, the red is also kind of streaky, and then I've got this really beautiful blue for the blue field. So, all right, let's go ahead and start cutting up that paper, and we'll find the red in just a minute. All right. All right, cut these up. I considered doing a second full layer of white glass and then just putting the red and blue on top. But then I thought, well, if I do that, if I do a second layer that's all white, the light won't come through the glass as nicely. So I kind of want to have, if I put this red on top of the white, the red's not going to glow, like it should. It's not going to glow like the proud flag that this is. So I want to make sure that my colors look best. So I'm going to do a little more effort, cut a few more pieces, and make sure that it has the most spectacular color possible. I hope I put that in the right path. I did. Okay. All right, red. Okay, and I'm going to cut this all as one big piece. And then I'm going to cut up that little star. I have my red pieces with a line on them, so I put a little glue on there, and I'm going to run them with the grain of the glass. Because that way I get a little bit more of a, oh, see, that's a really pretty piece. I need that one right there, I think. Oh, kind of being a little wasteful with the glass, but that's okay. All right, so this one, let's see, where did that one come from? Yeah, the grain's going to run this direction. There we go. See how nice that is to have that line on there so you don't forget, and you know, lay these pieces in, you know, contrasting directions. All right, so that's not really as efficient as it could be, but that's okay. All right, so now I'm going to take my cutter, just kind of divide that. And by the way, the red was over by my bucket of water, and I was soaking the label off. You know how sometimes those manufactured labels can be such a pain? They don't want to come off. So what you can do is take a little water. I put like a wet sponge on top of the label and left it there for a few minutes. And then it came right off, no problem. A little water and a razor blade, it comes right off. I decided to move those around. Look how much glass I just saved by just, you know, putting those things a little closer. There we go. All right, so let's see here. How do we divide? This is like one of my fun challenges, is figure out how to divide the glass, kind of do these wiggly cuts. I always find that kind of fun and challenging, kind of like a little racetrack. There we go. And remember, just turn the glass. Make it easy for yourself to cut. You get that good, consistent pressure you need to get a good score line. I'm going to move these pieces over here because I generally cut off to this side, and I don't want those little shards underneath my pieces. There we go. Great. I sure hope I got some nice direction in this piece of red, because I cut it off of a bigger piece of glass, and I was real specific about the area I used, because this glass goes into a little bit of orange. I didn't really want that. I just wanted red with a little bit of movement to it, a little bit of life to it, kind of like the, you know, the wind blowing through the flag. How beautiful that is. Oh, look at that. Nice. All right, take off this little extra piece here. Less grinding. If you have a little more space around your paper, you know, I'm not saying waste glass, but if you have a little more space around your paper, your scores generally come out better. Because they can, I don't know, if you're just doing a little bit around the paper, that one's going to require a lot of grinding. Oh well, we tried, right? Now, these straighter ones are always easier because, you know, you get right along that paper, get a nice tight score. This blue piece, I'm going to cut this in one big piece. That'll be fewer pieces to fit together, fewer pieces to grind, and it'll give a nice, oh boy, getting a little tight there. I kind of veered away from the paper right here. Come in a little closer there. So the nice thing about, you know, this was originally a stained glass pattern, and this pattern, I released it back in, gosh, 2001. And here it is, appropriate again. And it was designed for stained glass. But now, you know, I'm using the same pattern, but for fused glass. So I can use these extra lines for reference, but I don't have to actually use them to cut the glass. Here I didn't do such a great job. Go in there, get a little closer, peel that off a little bit more. Again, I try to minimize the amount of time I have to spend at the grinder. So peel that off. Now we're going to take this off. Okay, so that's why I really didn't want to leave this on there too long, because see, the paper starts to really stick with that glue. And then I'll take my scissor, cut out the star, put that in the scrap. I think this is going to be a lot prettier having this in one piece. Now, I'm probably going to use the saw on this a little bit. If you don't have a saw, just cut 5 individual points for the star, and you could have just as beautiful a piece. So, you know, as you're building your project, improvise as you go along. All right, so that's cut. And here for this, I have I have a solid white, because I want to make sure this shows really well on that blue field. So this is wispy white, this is solid white. Glue that down. Get a little glue there in the middle. There we go. So I'm going to cut as much of this as I can by hand, and then I'll use the saw for those deep inside cuts. All right, let's go ahead and cut the white. White generally takes a little more pressure with your cutter. It's a little more dense than a transparent color, so I'm pushing a little bit harder on this as I'm cutting. I ran into the paper a little bit there, but just keep going. A lot of times it'll still follow your score line if you have enough pressure. Okay, moving this over. Right there. Okay, looking good. Alright, so I've got this little star here. I'm going to do these gradual curves. Maybe I'll add another score line there, just to be on the safe side. Looking pretty good. This one we use my bigger pliers because I had a little more glass there to remove. Alright, I think I can get, this one looks pretty good, so I think I can get a little tighter. On those other ones, I just need to sweep my work area a little bit. There we go. I'm just going for it now. So what I'm doing is using a series of smaller cuts to get one deeper cut out. I call these concentric circles. And they're a great way to expand what you can cut. You can cut more complex pieces. I'm going to take these pliers and I'm going to go in and just gently apply a little bit of downward pressure. I don't mind if it comes out in pieces. I just want to try to retain that square shape there. That deep inside. Ooh, look how nicely that came out. Uh-oh, uh-oh. We lost part of our star. Darn it. Okay, well, this project is important to me. So, I'm going to cut a new one. Go get some more glass, take this off, and start over. That's okay. So maybe I should use the saw on that one a little more than I had planned. Alright, so I've recut this. I've got a pretty good shape. Not quite exactly what I want. I'm going to mark it. There we go. Alright, now that it's marked, take my lip balm, put that on there so that the marker does not wash away when the glass gets wet. There we go. Okay. Well, I've ground all the pieces. I have my clear base, my blue, my star, and let's see, put these other pieces in place. Now, if you have a lot of pieces like this, sometimes I glue them down, but I'm not going to do that today because I'm just going to carry this to the kiln very carefully. If you are going to glue, try to use the smallest amount possible. And like on a project like this, you really only have to glue like maybe the blue, this red, this white, this red, and this red, and it'll hold everything else in place for you. So that way you can minimize the amount of glue you use and you have less risk of contamination in your project inside the kiln. Well, here's our Heart of America, ready to be fired to a full fuse temperature. I'm really pleased with the way this came out. Oh, my little thing over here kind of got stuck. All right, there we go. Fire well. All right, here we are. Let's check it out. Oh, wow. Heart of America. Look at these beautiful colors, the beautiful firing there. We have a spectacular blue, the white, and the red. Just really very patriotic. Just love the way this came out. I'm inspired by all the individuals I see being active and supporting our country and our Constitution and each other. And I'm so pleased that, I was feeling a little bit, paralyzed. And so this pattern actually has a story. I presented it for the first time right here back in 2001, and I sent it to Spectrum Glass, and they put it in their little publication called Score, and they sent it out to everyone, and it really lifted spirits that people felt like they could create this piece of art and be part of a community and actually be doing something, being proactive and contributing to, people feeling better and a cause. So I found this pattern, and then I decided to remake it, which here's the one I'm offering to you free on my website. And when I came out here to my studio and I started working on this glass, I felt so much better. I felt empowered. I felt like I was contributing. I feel like I'm sharing with you something a little bit that will hopefully make you feel better, make you feel like part of a community, and make you feel like you are actively participating and contributing. So I really hope you enjoy this pattern. I hope you enjoy making it. I hope you can make one. And if you do, share it with us. We would love to see it. We would love to see hundreds of these in all over the place to show support and community and just, that we are, artists are the most generous people I know. They're always giving their art away. Just because they enjoy the sense of sharing something that they really love doing and something that really brightens and buoys other people's joy and mood. So be that person. I hope you get to make one of these real soon. And until next time, thanks for joining me, and happy fusing.